So C++ data type consists of several types, which is the simple one, the primitive, and then the address and the structure. In the simple one, we have a char here, like a character like A or B, C, and etc. And then short, and then integer, long, or boolean. As well as we have an enum here, enum data type. And then the floating, it has a float, and then double, long, double, and etc. And as for the address one, we have pointer and reference. This data type refer to the memory address. And then the structure, we have a structurized version of this simple as array, struct, union, or also class. Here we go, we can see that the primitive one consists of integral and float. This is the integral, and this is the float. The float is like a decimal, so like 0.2 and etc. Now we will check one by one the primitive data types in C++. The first one is the integral type, represent the whole numbers as well as their negatives. For example, like integer, short or long, we declare it the whole number of the yes, just the whole number, like a 1, 2, as well as the negative, minus 1, minus 2, and etc. And then the character types. The character types, which is a character, like a character, an alphabet, A for example, and then minus, and then cross, and then a dollar sign, and etc. It's a character. Represent a single character, so it's only single character, single digit, 0 or 1, but as a character, not as a number, because as a number we can store it in the integral type. It's stored by ASCII values. What mean ASCII value? It's a standard. It's a standard to convert this character into binary. We use the standard of ASCII. And for the boolean type, it declares as bool and has only two values, true or false. True is 1, false is 0. And then the floating type is like a decimal point, so it can be 0.3 and etc. etc. This is the examples of the data values. For example, like integer, the symbol is like this one. This is integer. It is also integer. This one is also integer. The bool only have two types, true or false, 1 or 0. And the float samples like this one, or also can be this one. The character can be this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, or also a number, but a number that is a character. So how to differentiate a number which is a character and a number which is the real or literally is a number? The difference is when you are typing the number in the quotes like this one, then it will be treated as a character. But if you just input the number and then without the quote, then it will be stored as integer. It will be processed as integer. And then, what is variable? A variable is a memory address where data can be stored and changed. So it's like we have a place and we give an identifier to that place. This is a variable. So we name it like age maybe. So it will store the age data. For example, the age is 20. It will be stored in the variable, namely age. So it's a place, the memory address, where we can store and change our data. When we are going to declare a variable, means in the C++, we have to declare the name or identifier and the data type. For example, like we choose this is an integer because it is an h. So it's an integer. Integer h. So what does variable declaration do? Actually, when you declare a variable, that means you allow the compiler to allocate enough memory. So it is like we ask the compiler to allocate the memory with particular data type, with particular identifier to create a space to save, to store our data. For example, like this one, integer age of dog means we allocate a space in the memory, an empty space, and we name it age of dog. And then the type of the data that will be stored here, the type is integer. So make sure the input here, the value here is in the integer type. This one is character. We create a character. We allocate some space in the memory to store the character in the variable, namely middle initial, and etc. So when we have to declare a variable must be declared before use it. So it can be at the top of the program or just right before we use that. It's all possible. For example, like I will declare the integer a, and then integer a is 0, maybe 2, and then I will use b, integer b is 1, and then I create integer c, and then c is a minus b. So it is possible. However, if we just delete this integer c and we only declare the c after the use, then it will result into error. And next, commas are used to separate the identifier of the same type. For example, if you want to create the integer a, integer b, instead of creating this sequentially, just write like this one, integer count, integer h, maybe this one, comma, integer a, integer b, and end it with a delimiter. And then variable can be initialized to starting values when they are declared. For example, like the default value, the integer count, we initialize the values as 0. Integer count is equal to 0. And then integer h, this one is also possible. H, we create an h and then we create count is 0. If we want to h is 0, then h is 0 and comma count 0. It's also possible. Now, what is expression in C++? Actually, you can also check the expression videos in my YouTube. You can check that one because that one is the version is much better because it's using an animation and more shortened than these videos. This video is exclusive for you in our class, so this is just like a detailed version of the expression that I upload it in YouTube. Okay, going back to our course. An expression is valid arrangement of variable, constants, and operator. Can be evaluated to compute a values of a given type, which means it can be like this one. It's also called expression, variable and constant. Also, it is in form of an operation like a plus b, a multiplied by 2, or a function call. We call the function get rectangle area, and etc. This is an expression. And then we also have this assignment operator, which means assign something here to something here. Sorry, this one, like assign something here. What is here? So put it in here. Okay, so like a assign 3, which means we assign these values into variable, namely a, and etc. The variable can be on the left side, like this one, and only variable can be inside, so it can't be changed like 3 equal to a. No, we can't do this one. So in this left side have to be only a variable. An expression is on the right side. So in the right side, this is the expression. And then the variables keep their assigned value until changed by another assignment statement or by reading a new value. So it will just keep like a equal to 3, then it will save in the a, like in the memory that called a. So we store this 3 value. Next, variable is like an expression too. So the expression on right is evaluated, then the result is stored in the memory. Next, about the assignment operator. In this example, I try to assign 0 into variable, namely count. And this one is not assigned. And then we try to add count and 5. So here we go, the starting point. Starting is the 0. But at the end, starting is count plus 5, which means the starting will be 5. This is the expression. Evaluation. The evaluation is the first one, we set the values, we assign the 0 to count, and then add 5 to starting, and then add 5 to count. This one, 5 to count, we add this one, and then assign the result into starting.